Well, I think my aluminum welding is getting much better. So we're at that stage where we're starting to mock up the intercooler piping because we're still waiting on the rest of the tubing for the header. So got a little time to wait. It's going to be like till Friday till I get the parts. So I figured might as well start working on at least the throttle body side of the cold side piping. I really can't do anything over here because the turbo's not in place, so we won't know exactly where that's at until the header's done. But, you know, I can mess around with this, and I think I've got it pretty good. I ordered some pie cuts off eBay. They were pretty cheap, like $15, $20 for, I think, 5 of them. And then I bought 2 sets, so I've got quite a few. Hopefully I have enough to do both sides, but yeah, I think it looks pretty good how I had it. And just for reference, I mean, you can look at my welds here compared to, a little over a year ago. I mean, there's really no comparison. I've gotten a lot better. And yeah, what I've really noticed, what I've noticed is that the prep is huge, okay? You got to get the fitment really good, and then, oh, I left my acetone off here. And then use acetone all over everything, even your filler rod, okay? So I was also messing with some of my settings, and I'll kind of show you guys what my settings are. One of the problems I usually have with aluminum is blowing through it, okay? And you have to get, it's like there's a fine line between enough heat and too much heat. So one of the ways to kind of get around that, and it's a little more forgiving, is turn your frequency up, okay? Now, I'm no expert on TIG welding aluminum, but this really helped me. This is the frequency dial here, okay? And I usually run it about midway, which is, I don't even know what hertz that is. It's probably, I don't know, like 120 hertz. And when I move it up to say 180, 190 or whatever this is over here, it's much more forgiving, because what it does is, you know, it's AC, so the higher the frequency, the less time it spends on each trough of the sine wave, okay? So it'll spend less time, which means it's less penetration. So if you go really low on your frequency, it's gonna penetrate at the same voltage. It's gonna really penetrate because it's sitting there, you know, it's dwelling longer on the trough of the sine wave, if that makes sense, okay? The cleaning action, I run that around, I don't know, like that's 45% there, between 50 and, I don't know, 25, so that's around what, 35, 45%. I run about 100 amps, and this is just normal like 3-inch intercooler piping, which, you know, it's pretty thin stuff. And I just use the pedal to, you know, not go all the way to 100 amps, obviously, but I don't know what the thickness is of this, but pretty standard intercooler piping. So, but yeah, I just kind of wanted to show you guys, you know, maybe give a few tips on the welding the aluminum. And I kind of did a little time lapse there of welding some aluminum. And I also did, I welded one of the couplers on here, not this one, but I welded another coupler on here. So I'm also changing the couplers, okay, to, this is a V-band, aluminum V-band with an O-ring in it, okay? So before I was using these couplers that, you know, they move around a lot. They're very forgiving, but I had a little boost leak with one of them one time, and I kind of want to get away from that. So now that the engine is solid mounted with a motor plate, I'm really not having to worry about too much movement here, okay? The motor should stay in one spot, and so should the intercooler. Everything should stay in its spot. So it'll move a little bit, but it doesn't need to move very much. So that's why I changed couplers to this V-band and then a double O-ring coupler. So this is this style here. Where do I have it? Yeah, right here. So this style is a little bit different. This is PQY. I'm sure it's a Chinese brand, but I got it off eBay. And let me just show you the difference here on this coupler. So this coupler has this coupler has a double O-ring. There are 2 O-rings go here. Okay, they have them, these O-rings. So what that does is it really seals it, and also there's not hardly, there's a little movement, but not much movement like the other couplers that use this big ring here, and then this thing here locks it in, but it allows it to articulate a lot. Okay, so we're getting away from that and going to a more of a solid mount where, number one, I don't have to worry about boost leaks as much. And number two, like I said, we're solid mounted now, so we don't have to worry. Before, this was on some poly mounts, so the engine moved, but the intercooler didn't, so I needed that play in the intercooler piping. So, but anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and get these welded up. I'm not gonna really show it. I started tacking a little bit here and here, and I'm gonna what I'm gonna do is take the tape off, kind of number them, kind of put arrows to where I want them to line up and all that, and then yeah, just take my time and work on it. And I also made this plate. Okay, this plate I was telling you guys I had to make in order to adapt this gigantic intake to the 80mm throttle body. Okay, you can see how much difference it is. So I didn't actually CNC machine that. What I did was I just stuck it on the mill and used a boring bar and bored the hole in it, and then drilled the holes myself. So yeah, I figured it was gonna take about the same amount of time for me to do it manually as it would to program the CNC, set up a fixture, do it all. And actually a boring bar is more accurate. You'll get a more concentric circle with that. So, but it came out really good. We have to, this throttle cable is not going to work. I have to order a different throttle cable. It's not long enough. It's barely long enough, which is not going to be what I need. I need it to come out to right around in this area. And then, yeah. So still a lot of work to do, but man, I'm starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Everything's looking really good. And I should be, well, once I get the rest of the tubing for the header, I should be able to get that done within a week, maybe a week and a half. And then, yeah, we can fire it up. Let's hear this thing. So anyway, guys, I just wanted to show you that little update, show you where I was, and just show you that I'm getting a little better in some of the settings on my TIG welding, the aluminum. And but stainless steel, I do great. I have no problem with that. I've gotten really good at that. This is some older stainless steel I've done. That was like 2 years ago, and it still looks pretty good. So, all right, guys, so that's gonna do it for this little update. I will check you all next time.